All right, guys, welcome back to the Old Glory Red Report, supporter channel for the supporters by supporters. I'm joined by Mark Anthony as always. KCJ, thanks for watching. It was a terrible, terrible game over there in Las Vegas. It was not good. There's bad games and then there's bad games, and this one I think the team just kind of fell apart, especially after that first Vegas goal.
Yeah, very disappointing. I was so disappointed. I looked in my closet this morning and found the most disappointing shirt I could find. That's my Manchester United shirt. Disappointing season for them. And back to our boys. Man, that was one of the most disappointing games that I have watched our team play.
It was awful.
In a very long time. I mean, of course, losing in the playoffs last year, that's always disappointing. Get knocked out, the season is over. But in terms of just a 90-minute performance, we had one of those halves like we had against Reno last year where we gave up the 3 goals like in succession. It was like bang, 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 game over.
And that was pretty bad last year too. That was very similar, to this.
Yeah.
Let's kind of start breaking it down. We'll start out with the starting 11. Elliot did make some lineup changes, but he didn't change the formation. We just slotted some different players into that 4-2-3-1. Pretty much did the same kind of tactics that we saw. Do you think those changes worked? What was your opinion of those changes?
Why is Awasa on the bench is, I think, the question that everybody wants to know. Is he hurt? If he is, why has he been playing the last 2 games off the bench? It would seem to make more sense to me if he was hurt that he would just not play and then maybe try to get full speed and start here in an upcoming game. But you have to think it's injury because you can't take our most potent attacking player and leave him on the bench 2 games in a row for tactical reasons, right?
We did hear that he got a knock a couple games back, and he has kind of been getting worked in, I think, by the coach to getting back up to full fitness. But I think it's what you said. Why not just send him out a whole game, let him get back to fitness and get back to starting? He belongs in our starting 11, and off the bench, I just don't think it does him justice. I can't speak today. What about Partain and Alleman getting the starts? What do you think about those guys?
I think Alleman deserved the start because he has shown some ability in the games where he's come on as a sub. And honestly, the players in front of him just haven't been producing, so you might as well throw him out there. Partain, I thought, was a real key bright spot for us. Not only the goal,
absolutely,
but I like his movement. I'm a big fan of his. I think that we're a better team when he's in the lineup. He always provides a spark in terms of he can score a goal like we saw. We saw him last year score a couple big goals for us. But he provides a lot of movement, and I think that he brings a little bit of flair to the team that sometimes we might be lacking in the central part of the field.
Yeah, me and John talked about it. When we played that friendly against Stanford, we saw Partain and Horde actually get the start in that game too and play in that game, and they both looked terrific. They came into this Las Vegas game, and at least in that first half, they looked really good. They did partner up to get the first goal of the game, which was a beautiful cross-in by Horde that just happened to find Partain and go in. I think those 2 players were terrific for us and would like to see them starting more in the future.
Horde, definitely. Good point to bring him up. He's been a player that hasn't been a regular for us, but I feel like every time he's in, I think he makes a difference.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't get on the score sheet or get an assist, I still feel like he always puts in a good shift, and I can't say the same for some of our other wingers. To me, sometimes when they don't perform, they don't really stand out in other facets of the game, but Horde always puts in a good shift. He always presses really high, and I just think that when he's in there, he can create some turnovers and create some counterattacks for our team. So I thought he was a bright spot for sure, and obviously got the assist.
Yeah, it's just, for me, it's just that the coach keeps trying to slot these different players into the same formation. I think he needs to find some formations that maybe suit our players a little better. We've kind of talked about it in the past, and on the last day of the Republic, we kind of talked about maybe doing like a 4-1-4-1 or changing it up and trying to work the players into a position where they can achieve more. Do you think the coach needs to do that, or are you kind of happy with what he's been doing?
I mean, we scored 2 goals in this game, but at the same time, one was a consolation goal at the end when we were down 3. I don't really count that, Vegas takes their foot off the gas.
Good on Blackwood.
For sure. I mean, it's always nice to get a goal, but Vegas takes their foot off the gas. It counts, obviously, but in terms of how our play was, I don't know. We scored 2 goals, but I don't feel like we were dominant in terms of the chances created. We had a few more shots on goal, but Vegas also is a team that allows a ton of shots on goal. So I still feel like we were so stagnant in that attacking third. We were chatting during the game. We didn't watch it together, but we were talking throughout it, and it's like we are so like, I don't know what it is, but it's like we get to the attacking third and we run out of ideas, and it's like we play wide. Oh, it's a 1v1. Oh, that doesn't work. Well, I guess let's recycle it to the back and then swing it to the other side. That doesn't work. I still don't see a philosophy where there's a lot of movement or creativity or players just kind of like, maybe playing some 1-2s or maybe a third run. I just think it's so like, it's almost like our team is like a foosball team. Like they're like stuck in like certain spots of the field, and there's not a lot of interplay going on.
Yeah, we kind of need to find something to open it up and find where each player can be more creative. Find the position that best suits Iwasa, playing along a guy like Horde who can serve it up. Maybe even going back to a 4-4-2, throwing Bonomo and Iwasa up top. Let Horde throw in some crosses. Let Warner throw in some crosses. It would just be something different, and it would liven up the attack. We have a great defense. You wouldn't know it in this Las Vegas game, but we do have a great defense, and I think that they could hold out no matter what formation we go in. We need to give those front line a better chance, in my opinion. The first half was kind of dull. It kind of had plays on both sides. I think it was an okay half, but it didn't really...
We had control, right? But we just didn't... We didn't look like we were likely to score, in my opinion, but we had control.
All the action happened in the second half of this game, and it was really after Parra? Yeah. There you go. Got that first goal, and we just started to look nervous after that. Everyone on the pitch started to look nervous. Vegas started pressing us a little bit more, and we started making sloppy decisions. I mean, 2 bad mistakes from Cohen. I at least in my opinion, they're bad mistakes from Cohen on the first 2 Vegas goals.
Yeah, obviously it's a game that he wants to forget, definitely.
Which is out of his likelihood. We don't see that from him ever. I mean, he's very solid in performance, and that was very unlike him.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the one on the cross where he just mishandles it, gives him a goal. I mean,
yeah, that was the 71st minute. For
that
Robinson.
That one is just. It's one where you don't watch the film. You just if you're Elliot and you're reviewing the tape with the boys, you just fast forward past it because he knows he screwed up. Everyone knows it was a mistake. It's embarrassing to look at it again, and I don't think it'll happen again.
And it just went right out and right into the Vegas' lap. I mean, nothing you can do about that.
And like you said, it's not something that we've seen before. So I mean, it's just one. I think it's a one-off. It was terrible timing because we go down 2-1 instead of, looking to go up in that situation. He handles the cross. Maybe we counter. Maybe some way we pull out a 2-1 win or something. But obviously, you're down 2-1 at that point. The game completely changes.
Well, and like I said, we looked nervous from that first Vegas goal. And ever since then, we were just kind of on the back hill. We were misplacing passes. We weren't as creative going forward. I mean, not that we were very creative before that, but we lost kind of that. There was a few moments here or there, but then they got that 75th minute goal. And I got to admit, the last 2 goals for Las Vegas, the second 2, they're just things of beauty. Great play. Great pass in. We talked about how fast they are on the turnover, and that 75th minute goal is that. They get a turnover, they pass it in defeat, great forward movement, and he gets a shot on just like that, and we're down 3-1.
It makes you think when you saw it, like, why aren't we doing that, right?
I mean,
why aren't we creating a counterattack? Because we have the players, we have the talent, so what's the missing link? Because, yes, it was a nice play, but I mean, it's not like Vegas has players that we don't. We have capable players, right?
Well, our guys could have defended it. We needed to be in a little bit better position with the back line. So, great play from Vegas. They took advantage of the spots that we were creating. The 90th minute goal, though, that's just a cracker. There's not much you're going to do about that.
It was a beautiful goal.
That's a team that's playing with confidence, up 3-1, and he's just like, I'm just going to shoot it, and it does what it does.
Hey, we saw Vincent Kompany score a ridiculous goal today for Manchester City.
Sometimes you just hit it, and it's just destined. That's the way that goes, unfortunately.
It's probably one of those where if that guy hits it 10 times, the next 10 probably go way wide, way high, or maybe one dribbles to the goalie. But on that day, he hit it in front of the home crowd, playing with confidence. You're up 3-1 at that point, so it's like, why not? Let me hit one. Yeah, you're playing with a little less pressure on you, and he scored. You got to tip your cap to it.
Yeah, you give credit to Vegas for the whole game. when they saw that they had that little taste of blood, they pushed very hard and they earned their goals after that.
Absolutely.
They kept creating chances, and we had chances that we didn't take advantage of. Iwasa missed one. Even the Blackwood goal at the end took quite a few attempts before it actually got in the back of the net. There was a header here, a header there, a header here before Blackwood actually got it on.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it didn't come easy for us, and it came easy for them, and that's the story of it. Man of the match on this one? Anyone you can think of?
I'm going to go with Partain because, you know, he's been a player that struggled with injuries. I thought he was playing a really good game before he scored the goal. And you know what? On a different day, maybe that's the game winner, you know, before the collapse happened. But, I mean, his positioning in the box was great. He got to that far post. And you know what? That's the type of run that I haven't seen from a guy like Bonomo or a Blackwood or a Bija, some other guys. So you got to give credit. Horde played a great ball, but Partain saw an angle, saw the back post was open. He busted his butt to get there, and it was a nice finish. I got to give him the credit. I got to say he was the bright spot of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the assist partner on that. I'm going to go with Horde. It was great to see him back in. I think it was a game where there wasn't too many highlights from our team. Like you said, Partain's goal and the cross are probably the two biggest highlights for us. So I'm going to go with Horde. I think he had a decent game. If I had to do a player rating this week, which I'm not going to do because I don't have enough time with all the changeover this week, but no one would be getting anything above a 7 this week because it wasn't good enough from anybody. But Horde was my guy. Any last thoughts on the Vegas game? Anything you want to add to it? I mean, it was a disappointment all around, so I kind of just want to move on from it at this point.
Yeah, I think we said enough. I mean, I thought, again, it was a game where Bonomo left me wanting more from a striker. I don't think that he has shown through the games so far this season that he should be our starting center forward going forward, unless he can contribute more to the attack. I know his hold-up plays is decent, it's pretty good, but, I mean, we have to have a threat in there. And Blackwood coming in, even though it was a consolation goal, him playing in a central position and scoring a goal, and he's played there a few minutes, and Bonomo's played full 90s or 75 and 80s in most of the games. I think we need to see Bonomo sit on the bench for a game or two.
He does well off the ball. He's not scoring, but he does well in playing the pressure, playing the quick balls playing the quick pressure.
In like the middle of the field, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he really does much off the ball or on the ball in the attacking third, though.
He's created a couple of goals by getting penalties in the box. He has done that work, but you're right. I don't think he's done enough, and I think it's the Christian Isley effect from last season, where we thought it was going to be someone that was going to come in, be a tall, strong body to get in there and do more, and it just hasn't been there for me. So I agree with you. I think he probably can sit on the bench a couple games, maybe see if he can get some training going on.
I mean, maybe we need to see Blackwood up there.
Blackwood, Iwasa up top would be fine.
Because Blackwood, I mean, if Iwasa is going to be playing in a recessed role like he has been, maybe Blackwood should be his partner up top, because we saw Blackwood play in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 as that center forward for Swope last year, and he was prolific in that position. I mean, he scored goals. He scored goals against us.
Yeah.
We saw it firsthand.
We did.
And you know what? Like, I don't know what happens in practice. We don't know what happens in practice.
Unfortunately.
Bonomo might look amazing in practice. He might be the clear-cut center forward. But ultimately, Casey, it comes down to what you do in the games.
Yeah.
It comes down
100%.
to results in the game.
Yeah.
And I think the fans need to see a different approach. And if we're not going to change the formation, some of the players need to change. And I think Bonomo has registered the most minutes of any of our attacking players so far.
He has not performed, so it's a good point. So we're going to stop beating the dead horse that is the Las Vegas game because, it sucked. We are going to move on at this point.
Issues, I think, right?
We are going to move on at this point. We're going to look ahead to Fresno.
All right, guys, so quick turnaround from our loss on the road to Vegas. We have another road game coming at you midweek, so Wednesday, don't forget, it will be on TV, I believe, ESPN Plus for sure, but...
It might be on Channel 58.
Yeah. Check the local listings, I guess.
Yeah.
But we do have a quick turnaround. So at Fresno, it's another road game back-to-back. I kind of think it's good that we're playing quickly after that bad loss against Vegas. You want to get that game out of your system. You don't want to stew on it for a week. You just want to play.
It's like a shot. You want to take it quick, get it out, get it done.
However, we are playing a team that's playing pretty well this season. Fresno is actually the only undefeated team left in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
They've won 3, they've tied 4, but they have not lost. They've won 1 at home, they've drawn twice at home. So they're not just, I guess, they're not undefeated with all wins or anything like that, but they haven't lost. So they are a tough side to beat, obviously. I think it's going to be an extremely tough game. They're coming off a big win, 4-2 over Monarchs. So they're obviously confident. They're scoring goals. They're unbeaten. I mean, man, they're at home. I think they smell blood in the water.
Absolutely.
Because we're coming on a terrible run of form. What are your thoughts going into this game?
I think we need the rebound, like you said. I think the team needs to forget Vegas. We need to get out there, and we need to try to get 3 points from this and salvage something from this little set of road games we've had. They're a strong team, though. They have not failed to score yet. They are putting the ball in the back of the net. They're undefeated, which means they're holding a good line and are being strong defensively. And it's something that we're going to run into a big challenge down there.
And they've had good results against good teams, too. I mean, they
really
tied
have.
New Mexico. They beat
Rio Grande.
Rio Grande Valley. They beat, they've tied OC. They've tied Phoenix. I think this is a very tough challenge. You know, sometimes you go to Vegas and Vegas gets the best of you, and I think the boys in red found that out the hard way. So you got to come back strong. But, again, this is a tough team to beat. They play a 4-4-2 normally, which maybe we should try out. We'll see. But yeah,
mentioned that a few times. Yeah.
Fresno's been a team that's been notorious for having some of our old players. Christian Chaney
doing terrific with 5 appearances.
Coming
and
off
3 goals.
2-goal games. So maybe he'll get a start. But yeah, that's a familiar face and name. One player that I always look for is Kaffa. Juan Pablo Kaffa has been one of the best players in the USL for years.
He's been around the league, too. He's been on a few different USL teams.
He tore us a new one last year. I remember on the road.
He can put a ball in from distance, too, just like we saw in Vegas.
He's a creative player.
He can get a cracker like that in on you. So
he's a creative player. So if they do play that 4-4-2, look for Kaffa to be that second striker. They like to play him in a recessed role because he is a little bit creative. He has that good outside shot.
Yeah, they're a very forward-thinking team. They have a great forward pass accuracy. They like to move the ball out wide and spread it to those wings. Playing in that 4-4-2, they are able to get those fullbacks up a little bit and still have the protection defensively in the midfield. So it's going to be a tough midfield battle for the Republic, especially after such a poor performance. They're going to really have to come in. And if Villarreal's back in there, we're going to have to see guys like that dominate that midfield and really control it, because guys like Kaffa can really take advantage of an open midfield.
Yeah, not only that, but they've only given up 7 goals. And we talked about that they've played some of the top teams. They were able to hold New Mexico to a goal. I mean, look, we're having problems scoring goals. I know we scored 2 last game, but if you take away the 4 that we scored at home, I mean, our goal scoring record is not good on the season.
You said it was 1 point.
Since Elliott's taken over the team, we're scoring on average of 1.3 goals a game.
It's not good enough.
That's not good. I mean, even though we had a really good season last year, finishing second in the table, we were the second worst attacking side that made the playoffs.
Well, we did it defensively, absolutely.
Yeah, and then ultimately in the playoffs we lost in a game where we needed to score goals. I mean, you can't rely every game on the shutout from our defense. I mean, we have a really good defense, and we're going to get clean sheets.
We saw that in Vegas.
Yeah.
Once it fails bad, and there's nothing you can do.
We're going to get clean sheets, but this is a game, and soccer is a game where you put a team, one player gets 1 shot, he cracks it. Sometimes it's indefensible. You can play solid all game, but rebounds, corner kicks. I mean, we know how this game is played. You just have to score goals. And we aren't scoring them right now. And we're going on the road against a team that is scoring goals and is not giving them up.
It's going to be a tough game.
What say you, right?
It's going to be a tough game. I think the Elliot has to come in this with a different mindset. It has to come in that we need to start getting results. We can't just play these dragged out 1-0 games. And so we'll see if the Elliot has a response to that. We will talk about that a little bit later at the end. kind of want to talk about maybe, going into this game, how much is it going to matter if we get 3 points? Because we've dropped a lot on the road and we're dropping in the table.
Oh, I think
Fresno's
it's huge.
sitting at 6, but we're sitting at like 12th now. It's got to be a result, right? We've got to get something out of this.
Oh, yeah, I think it's huge. Right now, there are 5 teams on 11 points, and we're actually right in the middle. We're the same distance. We're actually closer to the bottom than we are to the top at this very moment. So,
I mean, it's still early in the season.
The 3 points
it's not
is
reading that too much.
No, but it's huge, man. I mean, look, I think I'd be happy with a draw because it's a tough team on the road, okay? And you're coming off a bad loss, so a positive result would be fine. But don't get it twisted. You don't want to start dropping multiple games in a row. We're on a bad run of form, but we need to turn that around. We say that it's early, and you're right, it is early. But the season doesn't care. 3 points are 3 points. It doesn't matter if you earn those 3 points at the beginning, the middle, or the end. They all add up at the end. Last year, we lost 7 games. We're on 3 losses right now.
Yeah.
So if we lose here in the next week or two, one more game,
we're
we're
like
already
a third way through.
Yeah, we're already on pace to have more losses than last year by a lot, So you don't want to get into that. We lost, and now we lost again, and now we tied at home again
100%.
because we're not getting wins at home either.
Yeah.
This is a big game, in my opinion.
It is. I mean, I can agree with you. It's a game where we have to get at least a result, like you said. A draw, it's not great, but at least it's a point because we're dropping a lot and we're kind of losing the pack. And we're going to see within the next month, I think, is a good number. We're going to start seeing the pack formulate the bottom and the top, and we really want to be in that race for the top. We don't want to see ourselves drop down there. So speaking of the draw or the win, what's your score prediction on this one? What do you think we're going to get the result? Do you think we're going to draw it? What are you thinking?
Honestly, I don't think we're going to win, and I can't see us drawing this game either. I think we're going to lose unless some things change. I just don't think the team is in a good spot right now. I don't think I can't say that there's 1 or 2 players that are playing very well right now. Yes, we can talk about Partain and Horde, but they're not even players that have been regulars for our lineup. For the first time all season, our keeper has hit a bad run of form. Our defensive line, who have been stout most of the season, the last couple of seasons, are coming off a 4-goal against game. Like,
it just seems
nothing
like
is going
working.
well right now. We're
like
not scoring goals. We're not stopping goals. So, hey, I think we lose 2-1.
Ouch, 2-1.
I think this is the first time I've predicted a loss, at least this season. But yeah, what do you think? Go ahead and be the good guy.
I am. I'm gonna try to stay positive here. I'm gonna go with the 1-0 like I did last game. I think
Don't you feel like when you say that you're going with the 1-0, you're like almost willing it to happen?
Well, it's Elliott's style right now, and I feel like we'll talk about this on the next part we're going to move into. It's Elliott's style right now. I feel like he wants to win
1-0?
I feel like he wants to win games 1-0, and if we're going to win it, we're going to win it 1-0 because he wants to get a goal, and then he wants the guys to sit back and absorb pressure, and we don't look like we're doing anything. Like, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope you're right.
For me, it's a 1-0, and that's like, it's wishful thinking. It really is. But
I hope you're right.
Let's stay positive, 1-0.
I hope we win 4-0.
We need John here. John would have been like, we're going to win 3-0, and it's going to be great. So, yeah, he stays positive on this more than anybody else. Let's move into the next one now that we know what we're going to do on that.
Let's get into the good stuff.
It's going to be kind of a predicted 11, but we're also going to talk about, does Elliott need to do more in our opinions, and what does he need to do to make this team better? I'll let you go first. All
right, so Elliott had an interview with Indomitable City a couple weeks ago or a week ago.
Yep.
And what I found interesting in that interview is that he said, I want to rotate some players because the season's going to heat up. We're going to start playing a lot of games. You got to keep players fresh. You got to rotate the players, keep them active.
Yeah.
But I think we need to win games. We need to get points.
First thing first.
For me, I don't think we really know who our starting 11 is because our starting 11 through, 8 games now has not been good enough.
We haven't seen any consistency.
Our starting 11 is not a playoff team so far. So more importantly than rotating players, I think it's gut check time, man. Which 11 players are going to step up? So when you say, does Elliott need to do more? I don't like that response by him because it sounds like he's fairly comfortable in how we're playing. And I don't know a Republic fan out there that's comfortable watching what we've been seeing.
It's been bad the last few games, especially the Portland
But
game.
it has been bad all season. If you take away our 4-goal win,
yeah, I mean,
what have we done?
I mean, also had that hat trick thriller that kind of gave everyone this false hope of that. And in preseason, we did have a little bit more. We did look a little bit better going forward, but I mean, it's always hard to judge in preseason too.
We didn't look good against Stanford, even in a preseason,
even in a friendly. We didn't even win that comfortably.
Like, I think that it's time to find a starting 11 that works, and that goes for tactics too. We've been playing the 4-2-3-1 all season, the 4-3-3, whatever. It's a one forward. I don't know if Awasa is a playmaking number 10 like he's been put in that position.
Yeah.
He was our center forward last year, and he was up near the top in terms of goal scorers. We know he can put the ball in the back of the net. Maybe it's time to put him back into a more comfortable position.
Absolutely.
You know, Bonomo hasn't been good enough. We talked about it. He's not getting enough shots on the frame. He's not creating enough chances. We got to see a little bit more from our wide players. Other than Warner, Blackwood still begging a little bit on his chances. Bijev has been hurt, but even when he was healthy, hadn't been producing.
He's been a step off the whole season.
Do we need to move into a 4-4-2? We've talked about this before. Bonomo, I think his strength is a striker in a 4-4-2 because in a 4-4-2, you're playing a little bit more direct. Yeah, you're playing a little bit, you can say ugly.
And you have that partner to lay it off to. You
yes, you got that hold-up play.
You can lay it out, yeah.
But when you're a single high striker, it's really hard to hold the ball up unless your second striker, Awasa, is really close to you. And I just think his positioning is a little bit further back of the pitch than I want to see. I want to see Cam Awasa.
What formation are you going with?
I mean, I'm okay with a 4-2-3-1. In fact, I like that formation. But if it's not working, it's not working. So if we're going to stay that way, put Awasa up top or put Blackwood up there and see if that works. But I think a 4-4-2 might be better just because if we're going to have three center midfielders, we got to have more creativity in the middle.
Yeah.
And we don't play. We looked at the numbers. Look at the passing statistics. Our center backs play the ball more than our center midfielders.
Yeah.
So if we're bypassing them altogether, why have three? Why not have two and then have a second forward up there where we can play a little bit more direct? Maybe it's a little uglier, maybe not, but still, at least we're pushing the ball further up the pitch.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that we need to change the tactic completely because I don't think the 4-2-3-1 is fitting the players that we have, in my opinion. I think, a 4-4-2 or even a 4-3-3, that's kind of what I've been looking at recently. And what I think in the 4-3-3 would work for us is it offers the players what they want to be able to do right now. So you do get Iwasa and Bonomo up top. You can play them in kind of a triangle up top and sit like a Villarreal behind them. Villarreal has had great passing. Bonomo lays it off to Villarreal. Villarreal plays it back to either Iwasa or Bonomo. You have that triangle to play up top. Mm-hmm. You're going to play that same triangle in the middle using a guy like Horde, Warner, and Sari. And you play that triangle in the middle and let those guys kind of dominate the middle a little bit more. And we've had a solid back line in Tainter, Kynan, and Gomez and McCrary. So I would play that as a 4. I would quit tinkering around with it. That would be my 4, and I'd solidify.
My only argument against the 4-3-3 is the 4-2-3-1 basically is a 4-3-3. I mean, especially with how high Blackwood has been playing on the pitch when you look at the heat maps and everything like that. I mean, if it's a 4-3-3, I think you put Awasa or Blackwood at forward, and then you put a guy like Partain maybe underneath him as that center midfielder. But I don't
put Partain in.
So one argument for maybe looking to a 4-4-2 is that we don't get enough wide play from our fullbacks. Okay, so Gomez, yes, last game he was active and made a couple of good runs, which was nice to see. But our fullbacks are not producing in the attacking third. So if you go to a more traditional 4-4-2 and you put a guy like Werner and then you put a guy like Horde on the opposite side, you're getting more traditional wing play up and down the pitch with that crossing ability. when we've attacked this year, we haven't shown that we can attack with creativity through the middle part of the field, and we haven't shown that we can create through crosses and finish and getting on the end of crosses. So it's almost like, let's commit to one or the other.
Absolutely.
And kind of go from there, in my opinion.
The 4-4-2 is great. I did talk about that a little bit earlier. If you watched the first part of this video, it would be a good lineup for us. It would allow us to have the big guys up top. I would probably put Bonomo and Iwasa up top and let them play off each other. It does allow two bigger guys up. Iwasa can make the runs off the back that we want to see. Then put Warner and Skundrich and those guys in the midfield and allow them to play the balls forward. I think it would offer a great option for us. The other thing is to move into a back three. With the defenders that we have, you can go to a back three, then put Gomez and maybe Horde on the wings out back, playing in those wing back positions and taking them out of the fullback and into the wing back and playing that. So that's even an option right now that could see us actually being aggressive, especially against teams like Vegas that we should be beating.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever it is, I think something needs to change just for the mentality, because we're on a bad run of form. We're not scoring goals. The guys need a different approach, in my opinion.
It needs to shake something up over there.
And I think this is a critical time for Simon Elliott because, hey, look, we're a fan base that's unlike any other fan base in the USL. We have MLS aspirations, but we expect a lot. And maybe it's because we won a championship in our first season. I don't know.
We need to be in the playoffs every season.
But making the playoffs still isn't good enough for us, right? We need to be a threat.
Yeah.
Last year, we got second place. We lost in the first round of the playoffs. It felt like a failure. It felt like a failure of a season.
It did.
Maybe in most fan bases would have been thrilled, It's finishing second, which, it was a good season, but we still felt like it was empty. And we need to see more attacking play. Obviously, we need to see wins.
Absolutely.
We need to see results. But look, let's be honest. You cannot sustain wins without scoring goals, period.
And we kind of talked about this in the State of the Republic where, what's better? Is it better to defend well and not let anything in all season and just
I'm glad you brought this up
because
I didn't get my opinion about it.
Or is it, a better to score? Sometimes you have to go for games, in my opinion. You have to go for games sometimes, and we're not going for games.
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to give my opinion on that when I was giving my opinion while watching it since I couldn't be here last week, and it's why can't we be both? Why can't we be a stout, dominant, defensive team that doesn't allow very many goals and score goals? Why can't we win games 2-0 instead of 1-0 or 2-1? I mean, why can't we win a game 2-0?
We were just playing.
How many times?
We were just playing devil's advocate there. But
how many times have we seen in the last couple of years a 2-0 win, a 3-0? It's always we nick one. It's always a 2-1, a 3-2, a 1-0. And you know what? That's okay. If the results are there, look, I like attacking football. Okay, who doesn't?
It's more fun to watch.
But I want to see us win. I would rather us win 1-0 than tie 3-3.
Absolutely.
Even if that 3-3 game is thrilling, those results after time get frustrating. When you can't stop opponents. But we can be both, man. I don't think that you have to be one or the other. Look at Liverpool, your favorite team.
You have to be a balanced team to win titles.
Look at your favorite team. Liverpool is a dominant defensive team.
Yeah.
They have a defender who is arguably the best player in the Premier League. They have always four good defenders. Alexander-Arnold, Robertson are great attacking wide fullbacks, but they always do their job defensively. Van Dijk, those guys defend, but they score a ton of goals too. The team does, excuse me.
And that's what you can say about any top teams around Europe.
Exactly.
Look
you
at
can
Man
have
City.
both.
Look at Ajax right now. Look at, Juventus. Look at Barcelona that just smashed Liverpool. I mean, they all have that. They all have a great threat going forward, but then they're also somewhat solid in the back. Maybe Barcelona a little less than others, but most of them are very solid teams in the back.
Yeah, you don't have to be a creative attacking team and give up defensive breakdowns. We don't have to, commit men forward to get a better end result is what I'm saying. Positioning, a philosophy. I don't think we have a philosophy. When we get the ball, what are we trying to do, I guess, is
Well, and we need a player, another player like Iwasa, someone that's actually playing for the Crest and that actually cares. Like, I don't want to say the guys don't, but it doesn't look like it on the field.
I mean,
It
I
needs
think a
to
guy
be
like
that
Blackwood
team.
loves, Blackwood and Bijev. I think they give it their all. I think for them, I think individually it's different. Blackwood's getting back to the club. Last year he played in a different position. Bijev has been hurt a lot the last two seasons for us. But I don't know, man. It comes from the top, and I wonder. We're not there yet, but I wonder if we have a bad couple weeks here. Let's say we don't get a result in Fresno. Let's say we get knocked out of the U.S. Open Cup. What if we lose to Reno twice next week? Look, I think there'll be some chirps coming for a coaching change.
I can already hear the hashtags flying now. So
we're not there yet, but these things can change. We're not a two-side. We are a standalone USL club that made moves in the offseason trying to win a championship.
Yeah.
If we're sitting outside the top 10 in June,
something's got to happen. Something's got to happen.
We can't say that the season is a long season. We can't keep doing that because right now we're almost a third of the way through.
You know what I'm saying, fam? It's just not good enough, blood.
Yeah.
It's gonna
get this turned into Arsenal fan TV.
It's gonna get
real
full on
quick.
there, blood. It's gonna get full on.
All
right. This is getting a little bit long, so let's wrap up. Let's do a final thought. Kind of everything we talked about today. If you weren't with us for the whole video, we're gonna kind of talk about everything. So go real quick, just a couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm trying to speak for the fan base right now. Frustrating times. We got to see more. We got to see a win. A surprise. Show us something. Show us that, this is a bad run of form and not what we can expect to see, because we got to see more. We got to see better results. We got to see goals. And ultimately, I think I'm just frustrated like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, a bad Las Vegas loss, bad couple weeks, bad 3 weeks now. Not good enough overall. Like I said, I don't want to say anyone there's not necessarily playing for the Crest, but I just don't feel like the team is really behind what they're doing out there. I don't feel like the team is really feeling what Elliott's doing. I feel like it's just there's something not firing amongst the whole situation over there in the Sac Republic camp right now. So that's worrying to me. I don't want to push any early hashtags or anything like that, but I think we're starting to smell a little smoke, so we have to figure out something in order to turn this around. 12th place at a third of the season is not good enough. So, all right, guys, appreciate you watching this. Everything has been.
We need to know your thoughts. I mean, it's time to sound off. Give us your opinions. Something needs to change, obviously. What do you think needs to change? Personnel, tactics. Let us know. We want to hear your feedback. I know you're probably tired of me saying the same things over and over again.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about in this one, so definitely put your comments down below. We're on Facebook and Twitter and at Old Glory Red Report. We're on Instagram at Old Glory Red as well, so check us out there. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, do the thumbs up and all that. It'll be a podcast on the Beautiful Game Network. And now that I did all that, thanks for joining me, Mark. We're going to sign off. Peace.